Hello, hello, hi, gigpreneur. What is going on? Welcome. Happy Wednesday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. I am Sean Zini, and I am somebody who used to work 14, 16-hour days in an office 6 days a week, oftentimes 7 days a week, until my pancreas decided to quit on me and leave me unemployable without a plan B. Well, that kind of sucked. And so now I help folks with a job to start an online side gig and grow it using social media. If that resonates with you, drop the word me in the comments and let's go. And I'll get back with you after this live. Whether you're serious or curious, it don't matter. Let me know and I got you. I'll send you some info. With that, we are live on all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Let's go. If you're not following me, you can. I go with Side Gig Sean across all platforms. So if you do follow me, I'll follow you as well. So there we go. Well, let's go. So let's talk about kindness. Again, seems like I talk a lot about kindness lately because I think the world really needs some more kindness. But let me ask you this. Have you ever thought that kindness may not be as selfless as we think it may be? Let me give you a little story. Back in the day, there was a village, and the, one day they have an auction for bicycles. Well, there's this one little boy that has got this his eye on this one bicycle. In fact, he just wants a bicycle, and he has only so much cash. So he decides to go to the auction. And when they roll up the first bike, he's so excited. He's just jumping up with joy. He's really wanting that bike. He jumps up, and when the auctioneer says, "Who wants to open with how much?" he jumps up and he says, $5. And 'cause that's all he had. So he jumps up and he says, "Wow, I got something. Lauren, what's up? How are you? Welcome." So he's jumping up and down. He's all like $5. And the opening bid starts at 5. And of course, there's going to be more people with deeper pockets, and they outbid him and buy the bicycle. What's up? So he's all like, okay, well, that's the first bike. I can't win the first bike. The second bike comes up. Yay, I'm getting stuff. What's up? I love it. I love it. I love this stuff. So the second bike comes up, and the auctioneer says, "Who wants to start the opening bid?" The kid jumps up again with so much joy and so much enthusiasm and jumps up, says, $5. Of course, there are other people who outbid him and take the bike. Third bike shows up. Who wants to start the bid? Guess what? Kid jumps up, excited, like it's the first bike. He starts, it goes $5. And of course, he gets outbid again. But now people are starting to notice this kid, right? Well, a few more bikes come through, and he just goes with that $5, if you would, and he doesn't get a bike, and there's a break. In the break, the auctioneer comes up to the kid and says, "Hey, kid, what's with the $5 bid?" And the kid says, "Well, sir, that's all I have, $5. The auctioneer says, "Oh, okay, okay." Goes back to the podium. A bike comes up. Who wants to start the opening bid? Kid jumps up, excited, all enthusiastic. $5. Of course, he gets outbid. But then here comes the last bike of the auction. At this point, everybody in the crowd is looking around. I actually don't take anybody on as a co-host, brother man. It's 1:11 here in California. What's up? So the last bike shows up, and at this time, everybody's kind of looking around and kind of wants to help this kid out. You know what I mean? Um, that picture, huh? Rocky Balboa. Yeah. I'm a huge Rocky fan. If you don't know now, you know for sure. Oh yeah, Bella. I love it. Yeah, I'm a huge Rocky fan. Um, I digress, but I have probably watched Rocky movies, I don't know, maybe 70, 80 times each. I can recite all the lines of every. I know I'm a geek, but I really like Rocky. So, anyway, the last bike comes up, and everybody's like wanting to kind of help this kid out because this kid has not lost his enthusiasm, has not lost his excitement, still jumps up with joy and says $5. So the last bike comes up, but this bike is a little special. This bike has got, the metallic on it. It's got all these bells and whistles, if you would. This bike is a little more special than the rest of the bikes. And so the auctioneer says, "Who wants to start the opening bid at what?" The kid jumps up with joy and excitement like it's his first bike, says $5. And then the auctioneer says, "All right, $5 it is, going once. Who wants to bet more?" And the crowd is quiet. "Thank you for all the loves, Bella. I appreciate you." And the crowd is quiet. Nobody's speaking. Who wants to go $10? Nobody is raising their hands. Going once? Nobody is protesting, and nobody is raising their thing to increase the price. Going twice, auctioneer says, and there's just silence in the crowd, and the kid is all excited, looking around because he's used to people saying, "Hey, me," but this time nobody's saying anything. And the auctioneer says, "Going three times, sold to the little boy for $5." And as he's running up, excited, overwhelmed with joy, he's grabbing this bike. Guess what everybody else is doing? The crowd wanted the kid to get it. The crowd is clapping their hands. They're, yes, they're clapping. They're excited. They're screaming for this kid. They're so excited. And and here's what happens. The punchline is when this crowd goes home, they take those emotions and their feelings with them. They may even tell that story for weeks, months, years to come. And they get overjoyed with sharing that story, being part of that whole day. Why? Because when you are kind to others, you're selfish. Yeah. Because it makes you feel good. Thank you for the follow. I'll be sure to follow you back. because it makes you feel good about you. When you help somebody out, they get that momentary love from you, and they're excited that moment, if you would. But then you carry those emotions for a longer period of time, depending on the situation. Sometimes you could be sharing that story with somebody months down the road because it made you feel good. If you go to a restaurant and you want to tip somebody $10 and you end up ti tipping 15 or 20, you feel good about that the rest of the day. Why? Because you feel like, hey, I tipped more today, right? So being kind and caring to others, it's really not selfless. It's actually pretty selfish. It makes me feel good, and that's okay. It's okay to make yourself feel good by being kind to others. People are innately kind and are rewarded with good emotions. Yeah, when you're kind, it feeds that part of you, right? You feel like you gave a helping hand to somebody, so it makes a big difference in your day, in your mood, right? For example, I'll give it to you this way. What if you went to a restaurant and you were debating to tip $10 or $12? You were just like, you know, or $10 or $15. You're like, should I tip 15 or should I tip 10? And then let's say you decide to tip $10. Okay, the rest of that day, it's gonna bug you. It's gonna bug you why you didn't tip more. Dolphin do it, hey hey, step you do, right? So it's gonna make a difference in your mood, which is huge, right? You being kind to other people, it makes you feel better about you. I'm encouraging you to take the chances life give, gives you to be kind and practice. Practice being kind to more people. So, with that, hopefully, you guys got some love, some inspiration, some value. I appreciate you. Drop your thoughts, your comments, your feedback below. Let this feed grow. I always go back and read the comments no matter what platform: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X, LinkedIn, Threads. You can find me everywhere. I go with Side Gig Sean. And if you feel like you know somebody who needs to hear this and you feel like this is worthy of sharing, let's go. Tag them to this, share it with them. And with that, I am Sean Azimi. I'm somebody who went from working 14 to 16-hour days, 6 days a week, often 7 days a week in an office, until my pancreas quit on me and left me unemployable. And I didn't have a backup plan. And so now I help folks with a job to start a side gig online and grow it using social media. If that resonates with you, drop the word me in the comments and I'll get back with you after this live. With that, I am signing off until tomorrow when we do it all over again. Much love.